thought of 1,000 ways to start this film and tell this journey. But I think in order to tell the story that me and two other equally unqualified gentlemen were able to capture and document of Tristen Hutchings and his insane NFR run,
Welcome to the stage, Tristen Hutchings!
I have to thoroughly engrave the feeling of seeing the power of will work right before my eyes. And then the inspiration that followed to fall in love with chasing your dreams, even if those dreams can kill you. If I can engrave these feelings and emotions that I have had the privilege to experience throughout this journey with these bull riders into just one person that is here to listen and watch. If it inspires them to chase after what they love and know that with those sacrifices and all the hard work that you have done, and for someone to feel what I have felt, and to feel what some of the best in the world at what they do get to feel when they do what they love, I've become numb to the fear of whether this will be a success or not. That's why I've put it out for free for any and everyone to see. Whether it be 10 people or 10 million people. To know that all the hard work will pay off. And even all the pain and sorrow that comes along with it. That it'll all be worth it. Trust me. You know, I really wanted to finish this documentary over this last summer. Earlier this year, just a few months after we followed Tristen at the NFR, I found out about my dad having liver failure. It was early February, I think, and a couple months later, in July, he finally passed away. It was such a weird time in my life, and I had this grand plan to, go to Vegas and follow Tristen and have all this crazy footage we have and get this interviews done with him and tell his story. And I just, fucking life sucks, man, It is hard financially, physically, mentally, just everything. The months he was sick were, right when I wanted to start being able to finish editing and finish his film, but I just couldn't. I didn't know where to take it. It was just one thing after another. I had a day job doing construction, estimating flooring. I could maybe try and work on it on some weekends, but it just didn't work. I didn't feel good, and I didn't want to do it, and it fucking sucked. And I just thought at one point, I was like, man, I'm just gonna post the interviews I did with him and be done with it. And yeah, he'll probably be pissed, and I probably won't be able to follow him again or have an opportunity to do anything really. But my dad finally passed away at the end of July, just a couple days before his birthday, actually. I was there that morning, and I've never told anyone this, but I was holding him when he took his last breaths. The ambulance was on the way, and he was gone before they got here. It's a moment that won't haunt me, but it will be with me for eternity. There was just this wave of nothingness, just no feeling, no love, no hate, nothing. It was just like a silence of emotions. In that silence, I just kind of had a moment of, oh my, this is it, and you have to do better now. There's nothing holding you back. There's no more worry. He's not in pain anymore. I was there with him. He wasn't alone. And I felt I could finally tell the story.
Good. 3, 2, 1.
So the whole story kind of begins with an old friend of mine, Dustin Muncie. He grew up bull riding, started in his late teens. He's a day older than me. We met in 7th grade. He buried a hook in my neck while we were fishing. We've been best friends for 15 years. Pretty simple. Both growing up kind of poor Florida rednecks, him bull riding, me being a construction estimating guy. We never really thought about producing bull rides or filming things like this or having the opportunity to be in a lot of these situations. After pro bull riding for several years, he eventually went on to producing his own bull rides, the Ultimate Team Championship. Nice little plug. He came to me at the very first one back in 2021 and asked if he bought me a camera, could I film it and take pictures? I was like, sure, I'll figure it out, and started YouTubing a bunch of videos and camera settings and the whole 9 yards. I had, other than a phone, never really used a camera or filmed anything. Fast forward to October 2021, he has his first event in Wauchula, Florida. At this event, teams of 3. 2 of those 3 on the winning team were Cullen Telfer and Tristen Hutchings. The third gentleman in our story, Hayes Waite, was actually a high marked ride winner at one of our Ultimate Team Championships as well. So small world in the bull riding community. Even some of the bigger guys and bigger names eventually come to the small bull rides as well. So at this first bull ride, even though I was there filming it and taking photos, I honestly don't even remember meeting Tristen or seeing him or taking videos of him. Cullen I did, which is ironic because they were on the same team, but I've known Cullen for many years. He actually grew up with Dustin. Dustin helped him early on in bull riding, and Cullen being a couple years younger than us, always was hanging around us when he was younger, early teens. I got pictures and videos of him when he was in high school, man. I've known him for a while. Awesome dude. I mean, as hardworking and dedicated and humble as they can be. God, you would think this kid would never ride a bull. He's so timid, it seems, but he straps them every night, and it's insane. He had a background in wrestling, middle and high school, state champion wrestler, crazy athlete, I should say. Cullen would eventually go on to go out on the pro rodeo circuit in the PRCA the following year. What I think was his maybe second year or third year, maybe second year, I believe, the summer of 2022. Well, after a couple bull riding events, I had some camera equipment, and I'd always grown up watching documentaries with my dad. They're my favorite thing to watch. I watch every streaming platform, every YouTube channel, everything there is, crime, money, history, anything there is about documentaries. I love them. Nature documentaries especially. After watching these my whole life and getting into the technological side of it, with cameras and audio and storytelling aspects and everything, and going down so many YouTube rabbit holes, I eventually started to think, man, I could probably film a little documentary or do some cool interviews at least. I don't have a couple $100 cameras. That's about it. Nothing crazy, but it doesn't take much these nowadays with the technology there is out there. So after kind of talking myself into saying, yeah, why not? Let's try and just do some interviews with some cool people, man. I know all these bull riders and people in the Western industry, and there's no one really telling stories from behind the scenes. It's always the guys at the top, the guys who have made it, the JB Moonies and the Stetson Wrights, and these guys are at the top of their game or were at one point. And yeah, of course there's a lot out there about them, but no one really gets down there and sees, especially in the PRCA and the rodeo circuit, not the PBR, the kind of life these guys live, and how crazy it is, how grueling on the body for an athlete, from an athlete's perspective of, basically during this quote unquote summer run, they will ride a bull every day for 5 to 7 days a week, usually 6 or 7 days a week, for months on end in the summertime. It really is mind-blowing. I was like, they're getting on these bulls every day, driving hours. I mean, they're going from state to state to state. It's not like these are all right next to each other. They're staying in one spot riding. They're going thousands of miles over days and weeks and months, and they're away from everyone, and there's no one there. And sometimes they're alone. Sometimes they have riding partners. And that's how I came to meet a lot of these guys. When Cullen Telfer would start in the pro circuit in 2022, Dustin Muncie called me up and told me that, hey man, you should probably go follow Cullen or give him a call. That'd be a great person to hang out with for a week and just strap on some GoPros and get a couple interviews and see what happens. So we did. I got his number, reached out to him. We had talked a lot over the course of the years, but as we got older and went separate ways, we hadn't talked as much. And but I would always consider him a little brother to me. After a couple text messages and phone calls and kind of picked his brain over the course of a couple weeks in the springtime, we decided to link up for a week or two around July 4th. They don't really know their schedule or what bull rides they're going to be at or where they're going to be or what state they're going to be in until a month or maybe even just weeks out. So I was like, okay, well, I'll get back in touch. And so I did, late May. I got in touch with him, maybe it was early June, and he's like, here's my schedule for the next 3 or 4 weeks. And it's 6 different states, 10 different bull ridings, 2 or 3 weeks of traveling nonstop. And I'm like, what am I? Oh. So he sends me this list and I just start picking it apart. Okay, so if we rented a car and went here and did this and did that, and now I'm planning it, and I was like, man, this is awesome. This is fun. Like, imagine, being able to tell someone else's story while also, having such an adventure of our own, almost like a vacation. So I rang up a close friend of mine, PJ Creed, who had helped me cameraman some stuff, learned how I did off YouTube. And I was like, hey man, if I rented a car, would you want to just sleep out of it for a week and follow around these bull riders? And he was down. So it's pretty easy. And he's not hard to talk into doing things. And so we planned it up with Cullen. A couple dates changed the week before. Nothing major though, and we were off. We were going to be flying into Las Vegas, renting a car, and then going to Greeley, Colorado, I think was the first spot. Cullen tells me he's going to be riding with 2 other guys, Hayes Waite and Tristen Hutchings. Tristen had a Capri in the back of his dually truck that all 3 of them were sleeping in. Our guys get together, split gas, they all hit the same rodeos. All 3 of them try to get in the same rodeos. And some guys it hurts, and in their case, lean on each other to help each other and build these relationships that are like greats feeding off the greats. And they just kind of learn from each other and talk about their rides. And Tristen talks about it a little bit in our interviews, how it helped him and didn't help him, etc. So we flew out to Las Vegas, rented a Mazda 3 off Turo, and met him in Greeley, Colorado. From Greeley, Colorado, we ended up going to 5 different rodeos in 6 different states, We drove 5,500 miles. I forget how many hours, how much gas money, literally. Yeah, that was like a year and a half ago, and I actually sold my car to pay for the car rental up there for like $1,000. Still haven't got one. It's been a year and a half later, still no car. Worked remote, kind of just been working out, So the original plan was to just follow them around for a week, film everything that happens, and then at the end of it, I was gonna film an interview of all of them. Just to talk about the summer run, talk about the week they just had. It kind of was all dependent on how they rode. Overall, all three of them actually didn't ride that good that week. I think Tristen stayed on one time, and Hayes stayed on one time, or maybe twice.
I know you know what to do, don't you? Of course you do. No school. But serious.
What a move by that dude. Holy mackerel.
Admittedly, they had a rough week at their interviews. The interviews I decided to do with them, I gave them these questions I came up with at the start of the week and just followed them around for the week. Like, didn't want to bother them. Like, man, these guys, if they start riding bad and, get bucked off and get hurt a little bit, but they got to tough it out, they get, like, pissed off if people are, and shoving cameras in their face or, they don't really want to be talked to, after a rough beating. Some are better than others, but overall it's pretty hard. And so we kind of had this like line we had to dance with of, like trying to get them in that emotional state and, talk to them. But I didn't want to put, any kind of weird pressure or any weird kind of like thoughts in their head to where maybe they do ride bad and then they get hurt and like it's my fault or something, maybe not, but I didn't want none of that, I just wanted to capture what they're doing, act like we're not even there, and at the end of it, we'll do an interview of basically what I seen. So at the end of our journey, the last bull ride we went to was in Mandan, North Dakota. Honestly, North Dakota is just like one big golf course, but with no fun. What are you gonna do? In Mandan, it was like 95, windy, loud. We couldn't do the interviews outside. We had to do them inside his Capri camper, which we had to leave running to charge something or do something, but we couldn't leave the AC running because it was loud as shit, basically. The camera's shaking, the audio's kind of sketchy. Look, man, it was our first interview. We had a very just kind of mediocre camera, and it is what it is. But I think it is important to hear what he talks about. He really caught me off guard. So I decided to do Cullen's interview first because I knew Cullen. I was comfortable with Cullen. I figured that'd be a great one to do first. I figured I would do Hayes second because Hayes was kind of more outgoing and seemed to have like a little more kind of flashier personality. So I figured it'd be easy to talk to. And then save Tristan's for last. Honestly, that whole week we stayed with him. We went out to the bars a couple nights and hung out and did this. He was relatively pretty shy and didn't talk much, and we would if we were all hanging out, but when it was kind of just us, he didn't say much at first, but as the days went on and the more we talked to him and the more we got to know him, he really started to open up. But even then, it wasn't as much as I thought I would be able to get out of Cullen and Hayes. I think I had about 10 or 12 questions. Cullen's interview was about 35 minutes. Hayes was about 25 minutes, 30 minutes almost. So I'm thinking by the time I do these two, I'm thinking Tristan's is going to be like 15 minutes, maybe 20 at the most. And to kind of sum it all up, this is a perfect example. He actually wanted to sit in on Hayes' interview. And you can see him laying down on the bed behind Hayes because we did it in the Capri. And he just wanted to sit in and see what they said, basically, And I thought that was kind of interesting. I understood where he was coming from once I finally got to talk to him. It turned into a 45-minute plus almost an hour-long interview with him. It was insane. He had opened up and just told me so much about his childhood and growing up and all these things he's had to go through and the work he's had to do. And it's just a totally different lifestyle for someone like me. But basically over the course of this 45 minutes, I come to really know a new kind of man. He's just only known one thing, it seems like. And actually, you can even hear me say in the interview a couple times, like, that was good. like, oh yeah, keep saying that, or like, man, that was nice, because he was just saying these things that just like brought a whole new life into my eyes that was so crazy to see. I felt like I was seeing it through his eyes. In order to fit in the rest of his interviews actually at the NFR, this one I think had to be cut shorter, but it is what I believe the most important parts to set up what he was going through the summer of 2022 before the NFR, where he was sitting 17th or 18th in the world, hadn't been riding that good right then and there, and the week I followed him, he didn't ride that good. But just really listen to what he has to say, and then where he ends up in the rest of the film.
I'm Tristen Hutchings. I'm from Montague, Idaho. I'm 22.
22?
Yep.
Where do you live now?
Montague.
Still Montague?
I grew up in Blackfoot. My dad moved around a lot, different jobs, and then he ended up in Montague. My mom, I had divorced parents, so then my mom just moved to Texas, so then I moved with my dad. I'd go to my dad's for the summer every year, but Montague, I think there's a post office. The Mud Lake's got 2 gas stations, but Montague's like 15 miles away. They got 2 gas stations, maybe some parts stores, and then it's about 45 minutes from Idaho Falls. So to like get milk and stuff, groceries, we go about 45 minutes in there. But it's pretty nice. Being out there, kind of you do whatever you want.
Who got you into rodeoing? If anyone.
I heard the other 2's questions, and like them other 2 boys, I was kind of raised in a rodeo. So my grandpa, my mom's side, he rodeoed. All the time. He rode saddle broncs and bulls, and then my grandparents on my dad's side had a horse farm, horse ranch, so they bred a bunch of horses. They had like 4 nice studs, and they bred a bunch of cutting horses, and then so my dad ended up being a timey. He calf roped and team roped and cutted, and then my grandpa did rough stock on my mom's side, and then my uncle did rough stock, and my mom and my mom's sister, they did barrels and bulls and stuff. So it was kind of, I grew up rodeoing. Like, I mean, that's what it was. Like, I mean, I don't remember a time, like, during the summer that we didn't rodeo. Like, I mean, I got friends in Texas, so, like, they go to the pool, they drink beer and stuff on the weekends. Like, I mean, we didn't do that. We don't have a pool. We spend our money on horses. We spend our money on entrophies, That's what was important to us. And, like, I mean, it's still important to us, Shit,
Right.
I don't want a pool in my backyard. That's not me.
Yeah.
I'd rather look out big green grass. Like, you step out my dad's back porch and it's green grass, hay field as far as you can go. We don't have no pool. I'm sure we could afford one if we sold all our pivots, or any of them horses. They're worth just as much as a pool, But that's what we'd rather spend our money on, That's our lifestyle.
That gave me goosebumps.
I don't remember, but my mom and my dad, they'd push the stroller with me and my sister up there, and they'd rope and stuff and run barrels and stuff while we're sitting there in the stroller. Other people would watch us while they'd compete, and then they'd roll the stroller back. Even before I could ride sheep, I was sitting there watching, Shoot, I was 9 months old, a year old, and then like eventually went to sheep riding and stuff, and shoot, after, I don't know, 5-6 years old, it turned into, from being fun to quick, like, competition. Like, I mean, we went there to win.
Right.
It's kind of foggy, but I think 13 is what it was, and IJRA 13 and 16 was big bulls.
Yeah.
I worked for an electrician for 3 months my sophomore year during the summer. He'd let me go rodeo. It was really cool. Worked outside on big well pumps, pivots, power lines. We brought all the power from the power lines, made power boxes, and run us to the house and stuff. Not so much like little plug-ins and stuff. We were on like big cables, stuff you screw up, you die,
Right, yeah.
For a couple summers, I didn't think that I was going to be able to rodeo full-time. Like, I mean, I didn't think I had it in me kind of deal, I didn't have what it took. And shoot, sometimes you still doubt yourself, Am I going to have to grow up and get a real job, or am I going to gut this out, All 3 of the kids in the rig, me, Cullen, and Hayes, none of us made the finals. None of us have proven, you know what I mean? We want enough money to be... keep going, but none of us got our own house. We still live off our parents. We need to make it to the finals. That's when you can put money away,
Right.
That's when you can buy a house or buy something that you got something to go home to. Shit, this is my home. You know what I mean? I ain't got nothing else. I got this in a car. That's it.
That's the shit I like to hear. You bull ride full time?
Yeah. I guess every summer I'd go home work for my dad, and he is strict. Like, I mean, if I didn't have my rodeos wrote down 3 or 4 weeks ahead of time, I wasn't allowed to go. Like, I mean, my dad depended on my help. I can run a loader really well and bale hay really well, and anybody can bale hay, but not everybody knows how to climb underneath them and fix them when they're mistying or whatever. When you're spinning a bale out with only half the strings on it, don't stack. You know what I mean? They end up breaking. And I guess I started pro rodeoing when I was 19. My buddy Colton Fritzson, he actually won the NFR, the average title in 2020. And I never really thought I could do it. Mainly because I wasn't doing it. You know, I wasn't winning. I was winning enough. I was successful at the collegiate level, but I'd go get my ass kicked at the pro level. I mean, that's just what it was. And until I finally went to the college finals last year, and shoot, I barely qualified for the college finals. I'd rode some good bulls, but competition was tough. It was me and Cullen and a couple other kids that rode real well, and I was sitting second and third all year, and I had a couple bad calls from some judges, called me for some slaps, and shoot, I went in Tarleton, I had to ride. That's what it was. If I didn't ride, I didn't go. So I ended up getting there, and I ended up second place. I jumped from fourth to second place. I went to the college finals, got bucked off my first one, rode all 3, changed the arena record, and won the collegiate title last year. And shoot, after that, I thought I could do anything. And before the college finals that year, I went to 7 pro rodeos, and every single pro rodeo got bucked off. I didn't have no money. I had no money to get home. College is over. I need to drive up north. I need to go home, kind of deal. Shit, I was out there 93, 94 degrees, building fence, blisters on my hands. I got enough money to go home, and I had about $1,000, and I had 4 rodeos, and I had $96 or something in my bank account left, and I won, I think, $3,000 that weekend. Went to the college finals, won the college finals, and after that, I was like, shoot, I think I can do this. Then I won, I think, $25,000 after that in 2 months, and as soon as the new season hit this year, I said, man, I gotta try. You know, I can live with being broke for a year or whatever, coming back, you know, and working and building back whatever I had. But I've gotta try. And if it's going completely broke, doing it, that's what I gotta do. And so this is what I do professionally now. I don't do any other source of work. I don't have any other time. And if I do have time, shoot, I'm working on this dang thing, or I'm helping my dad out, or whatever, you know.
Right, yeah. So what are some obstacles or sacrifices you've had to make in your normal life, you know?
Shoot, I got so many of those, I'd probably bore you to death, but the thing that really kind of pulled on my heartstrings, I had a beautiful girlfriend last year, and as soon as the rodeos hit, all my friends were single, we were running around. That's just what it was, and then about after the summer run, I started dating her again because I realized I kind of screwed up. But I kind of realized this year that's kind of she pushes me more than anybody else does. She's got my back. Her, my dad, my mom, my grandparents, they all want me to win. You know.
So you have a girlfriend.
Yep.
How does she take it? You bull riding everything. I mean, you kind of just went over what had happened, but you know.
Yeah, it's she last year she stayed down there in Texas. Thought it was miserable. She didn't have no fun, no friends down there. All the college kids are gone in college town, you know. She come up north this year. She's living with my parents, roping, getting way better roping this year. It's awesome. I think she's having fun. She's a registered nurse, so she graduated in Casper with her nursing degree, and then she's getting her bachelor's in nursing right now. So she works as a nurse in Rexburg for 3 days, and then comes back into my dad's house. We help some work, and they break my rope and have fun.
Oh, wow.
So it's really good. It's hard on everybody. I don't get to watch my siblings grow up. You know what I mean? They're at a junior rodeo right now. I love be tying their hands on their first sheep. You know, but I don't get it. You know. But everybody's like, you gotta go chase your dreams, and I got to.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
At some point, man, it's all.
Shoot, I've been flying around all year, all spring. All spring I've been flying around, sleeping in airports. Why quit now?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm 17th in the world. I got to try harder right now than I've tried ever before.
Close.
It's a sacrifice. So I had a dog that I took I got him my junior year of high school. I took him to college. Shoot, he lived in the dorms with me. He lived down there at college with me. And I ain't gonna spend any time with that bastard last year. And as soon as I got down there, he looked sick. I thought he got in a rat poison or something. I took him in and he had a bunch of cancer on his kidney and it wouldn't let his bladder drain. Had to put him down right then. I felt terrible. Last 3 months of his life, he's locked in the kennel every single day. Yeah, it's pretty tough. Yeah, it's getting hot in here, ain't it?
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to cook there, man.
Yeah, you're 51st in the world last year. Not high enough to make it into the rodeos. You want to be about top 40, top 35 the year before you want to hit it hard to be able to get into your rodeos. All your rodeos come off qualifications, so if there's two guys and there's one hole left in the rodeo, right? I've got to have better qualifications than you. I've got to won more money last year than you this year. That's how I get in. So I didn't have enough money won last year. So the best thing you can do, as soon as the new season starts, jump right early in the standings. And that's what we tried to do. I flew to Florida. We went to Dustin's event, and then went to a couple more, and then just kind of kept going. There are not very many events, but you go to every single one you can. Getting a jump start doesn't so much matter as much as money won, but where you're at in the standings to get into those big rodeos. As soon as January hits, you got Denver, Fort Worth, San Antonio, Houston. Those are 4 events you need to go to, for sure. Houston pays $50,000. I think in every event, still from March, the winner of Houston is still number 1 in each event. If they won that rodeo, they're still set first.
Really?
So it's definitely you gotta go to, And for me to put my name in that hat, I had to go hit it hard, And that's what I did. They say the summer run, 4th of July run, you can go to every rodeo every single day from here on out.
Right.
If you can push yourself that hard, If you can drive every single night till 3 in the morning, wake up 10 o'clock, shower, just keep driving, After we leave this event tonight, what are we going to do? We're going to drive, sleep, get up, drive some more. My back hurts right now. I've been sitting in the truck for 4 days straight,
Yeah.
It gets old. That's when you got to say, hey man, I slept in the airport how many times? How many times did I sleep in the airport or wake up 3 in the morning to go drive my ass to the airport to go to that bull riding? Can't quit now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Especially when you're 17th in the world.
For sure.
Remember, you won $60,000 and we're in July.
Yeah.
Right. So you still got a whole another half a year to
for sure.
cook it out.
There's still a lot of money left. That's probably what it'll take this year, 130,000 to make it. So
Right.
There's still a lot of ground to make up.
Tristen, fucking awesome, bro. Killed it.
Thanks, Doug.
Good job, brother.
So after Tristen's interview, we packed up and headed back to Las Vegas. It was like a 16-hour drive or 17-hour drive, something crazy. We drove straight through, just switching off, driving. I think we slept for like a couple hours in a gas station somewhere. Didn't film any of it. We were so tired. PJ was sick. He was getting nosebleeds like every 30 minutes. It was insane. Yeah, so then fly back to Florida and went back to my day job. That first couple weeks, they didn't still really ride that good after I left. So, it was like, okay, I'll edit the interviews down to what they are, and we'll kind of take it from there, and I'll just maybe post them. But then I started seeing Tristen post, he's winning, and oh, he's jumping up, and now he's in the top 15, and then he was kind of fighting at the top 15 spot for a bit, and then all of a sudden, he went on a rampage. He goes on to tell it in this interview that he had won more money than anyone else in those last couple months in the entire pro rodeo across all disciplines, I believe, at least specifically bull riding, I know. When I had met him out in the summertime, he was around, I believe, $60,000, $62,000, something like that. He says at the end of the interview that you'll probably need to be about $120,000 to $130,000. Well, that's exactly where he ended up. 17th place when we met him in the summer, all the way up into the top 10, which is real comfortable to be. Top 10 is really the kind of safer area because that 11 through 15 spot is volatile, man. They'll switch every couple rodeos, every couple days. It's in, guys out, and it's a real shootout right there at the end of the season. So after keeping up with him, I was like, oh crap, he's in the top 15. Oh my goodness, I gotta go to Vegas now. I got lucky. Just a couple months before the NFR, Dustin was still producing bull ridings, and I got to film one of their bigger events. Made a little extra money, took all of it, and said, fuck it, and booked an Airbnb and a van rental in Las Vegas. Our first interview with him actually was the morning before his first round bull ride. We met up with him and Delaney at the Treasure Island where they put up all the bull riders for the week, and I didn't really know what to expect. It was kind of crazy. I went back and watched his interviews, and I was like, man, he has no idea in this interview. He doesn't think he's going to make it to the NFR. You can kind of tell. You can kind of tell he doubted himself. He believed that he could do something, that he could be greater at bull riding, but I don't think he thought it was going to be this year. I don't think he really knew if he was going to make it or not. And I don't think they ever really know. It really was a sight to see when we first walked in there and met up with him. He's a different kid. He's a different guy. He's just like a new personality. He's kind of walking with a little swagger, and he's got his chest out, and he's all hype, and you could tell he really locked it in, and he really found a new gear. And it was insane to watch that transformation go from the guy he was in the summer to the very first time I met him there at the NFR to then the very last interview at the end of the NFR. Almost 3 different guys completely, and it's beautiful to see.
The last 2 months of the season, or let's say 50 days, I won more money than anybody else in PRCA in the whole deal. So I feel pretty good. They say coming in here, it's all about how you ended your season and being confident. And I've been pretty confident, and I've been working out and practicing a lot. So, I'm pretty excited. It should be good.
Yeah, we followed you around the July 4th time, and, you were 18th in the world. And from what I remember, it was around you were at 50 or 60 grand maybe or something like that. And then in those last 50 days, 2 months or something, you rang it up to 127 you're at right now? That's insane.
I got told when everybody watching me, once I got into the top 15 and got comfortable, I started riding a lot better because I wasn't sweating it. Well, I knew I could do it.
You knew you could do it, right?
And I finally had the confidence to do it,
Even after the season ended, you've won a couple events, and rode at a couple events since then, right?
Yeah, I went to Bulls in the Ballpark. I got 3rd. I was 88.5. Won a couple thousand there. The other day in Queen Creek, I was 86, and then went to a couple college rodeos to stay tuned up. So it was pretty good. Treated me good. Nice.
And you won the college rodeo finals last year,
right? I won it in 2021, and I got 2nd in 2022.
Explain to us how the NFR, how the finals works. It's 1 bull a day. Do you know your bulls? How much could you win per day? The average, because I know it's all broken out, kind of already laid out for you.
Yeah. So there's 10 rounds. We actually have the draw for our first 2-round bulls. So we bring 100 bulls to the finals. So there's 20 bulls each night, which there's 20 bulls eligible each night, but there's only usually 15 guys, but this year there's 16 guys.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's really weird. Bunch of discrepancies and lawsuits and stuff.
Oh.
Yeah, but
I'll have to dig into that.
Anyways, they take the 20 bulls, draw 16 out of them, and then you got 4 rerides. Anyways, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pens. So 1 pen is good spinners, 2 pens a little bit stronger, and then 3 pen is stuff you can be 90 points on. 4 pen is stuff you can be anywhere from 90 to 93 points on, but they don't ride them.
Right. It's hard to stay on them.
Yeah, they buck their ass off. And the 5 pen is a TV pen, so like what you watch on TV or what you think of on TV. So that's the pens, and then they go 1, 4, 3, 2, 5. So the first round is the spinners tomorrow night. They're supposed to be the easier bulls to ride. You're supposed to ride 16 out of 16, which you won't. No, they never do. But That's the point. And then the second round is actually the eliminator pin, which is the ones that don't.
They're going to send everyone
So
out.
I got one called TC. They bucked him 16 or 17 times 2 years. Never rode him. Bucks real hard, but only 3 or 4 handy guys have got on him in the 16 trip. So, and I talked to those guys, and they say he's just a good bull that bucks real hard. And the one I got tomorrow is just real nice. I think both of them are away from my hand, which if I had to pick, I'd probably get on one into my hand. But I definitely been really working at it, and because at 10 bulls, one's gonna go away from your hand. It's got to. So you might as well be prepared for it, and I feel like I'm prepared for it. And I mean that's the deal with my draws. I got 2, and then after you get off every night after the second round, then an hour later they'll draw your next night's bull, and then so on every single time. So that's the way the draw works, and the way the payout works is there's I think about $100,000 every single night eligible to win. So first is like 28,000, second is 24, and so on down to
100.
6th or 8th place, and then so it ends up being like $1 million in round money, and then there's another $0.3 million in the average. So the average is 70,000 something for first, and then 60, 50, 40, 30, 20, 10. So the average is an aggregate. The person that rides the most amount of bulls wins first place at the end of 10. So all the money you've won plus the average money at the end. So like on World Tower races, it definitely, like if I was to make 200,000 and then get another 70,000 for winning the average, I mean it's definitely cool. It's a big deal, the bull riding, but like if you watch like the bronc riding and stuff, like no one rides even 9 bulls or 8 bulls usually, but like the bronc riding, if you fall off one, you're done for the average money. You're just riding for go rounds, or like bulldogging. If you miss a steer or team roping, you miss a team rope steer, you're done.
Right.
So then you're just roping for rounds after that, just trying to win as much money in the 10 days as possible, because you're not going to win too much money at the end of it.
Now, does that speak to how much harder bull riding is compared to other sports?
For sure. Bull riding is very tough. The thing, so there's several people, like 4 or 5 people that have rode all 10 bulls to the finals, but the genetics and stuff in bull riding is so much crazier than bucking horses.
Right.
Like they're starting to get futurities and stuff for bucking horses now, but like they've been doing bucking bull futurities for a long time, and you win 100,000, 200,000 by just bucking your bull. And they're breeding genetics like horse racing and cutting horses.
Right.
They go way back. They have papers that you send in hair samples, DNA samples. They test for steroids now. It's
nice.
It's the full deal. So that's why bucking bulls have just become so much more ranker. It's just tougher, to stay on. They buck so much harder, and they said back in the day that. They say that now our bulls don't buck harder. We just have a lot more of the ones that buck hard. So you'd go to one rodeo and find one rank spinner, which now you go to a rodeo and almost every single one's a rank spinner.
All right.
So they had the bucking bulls back then, just few and far between, because they didn't have the genetics like we do, or the science, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just like cell phones.
Going into this competition, what do you think is one of your advantages?
I just get the confidence from winning. And then on the off season, you definitely get the confidence from how much hard work you're putting in, you know what I mean? So I always tell myself, if I put in the work and lose, I can live with it. But if I don't put in the work and lose, then I can't live with it.
What is your mental, physical, eating regimen? What have you been doing the last, let's just say, month to prepare for this, or since the season's ended to prepare for this, knowing you're going to be here for 10 days?
So one big deal that I did was in May, I had to do a big deal about comparing my joints to my other joints, my hurt joints to my non-hurt joints, and the flexibility. And I got on a scale and they were like, oh, you're 83 kilograms or some shit, And I was like, oh, okay, what's that? that's 183 pounds. And I'm like, nah, bro. You're not,
It's big, yeah.
So I lost like 16 pounds. So now I weigh like 168. So I went and bought a scale. Been kind of eating pretty healthy, working out every day, and then I get on about 4 practicables a week. So either Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday, I'll get on 2 both times, and then we were going to a couple, like 1 rodeo a weekend just to stay nice and crisp. And then I went to the event in Arizona just to make sure I was ready, feed off of it and come here and do even better. There's a lot of people that have been sore that I'm riding against, like Jared Stratford. He's been on 2 bulls since mid-September because his shoulders hurt him. Same with Luke Casey, hasn't been on anything. Creek Young hasn't hardly been on anything just because they're sore and beat up. When I was at the end of the season, everybody was turning out, and I was just going to every single thing I could, and I was staying on, but they were giving me big scores, like I was 91 in California, 92 in Nephi, and it felt like all I had to do was keep my hand shut. They were handing me a bunch of money, and so it seemed simple. All the college kids that went back to college, all the older guys were feeling pretty beat up and sore, and everybody that's been traveling all year is like, shoot, I've got it made, just not that big a deal. And I was making so much money and having so much fun winning. I was traveling by myself. Hayes was done. Colin had went home. I was literally driving all the way to LA by myself, and I was just didn't know anybody, and I was still having a ball doing it just because, that's what I want to do, and that's how I want to make my living. I don't want to $17 an hour or whatever, flipping burgers and fries. That ain't me, you know what I mean? This is what I want to do, and I've been going to college. I'm supposed to graduate this coming spring, so.
Nice.
If of course I have a backup plan, but right now I would have to do something like work at Tractor Supply,
Right, yeah.
I ain't doing that.
Who do you look for inspiration, and if anyone, or maybe it's yourself, but, who do you look for going into this event for 10 days?
Yeah, so there's a couple people. Who really inspired me. There's some Idaho athletes. Roscoe Jarbo, he's been here like 6 times. And then Josh Frost, he's here right now. And I just kind of asked them, hey, what's it like? What should I do? What should I prepare for? And all of them kind of the same answer. They say, hey, you made it there. Whatever you're doing good. Just keep doing what you're doing or what you've been doing. But other than that, for hard work, I was just looking to my dad, We call it Hell Week, but when we'd put up hay, it'd be, 100 hours a week. 4 to 5 hours you'd sleep a day. It'd be me and him baling hay, raking hay. It was hell. But my dad always says to just lead by example. If he can keep going, then it makes everybody else want to keep going. It is tough. 10 days in a row, you're stacking hay all day long, and then about 8 to 9 o'clock, you go in and sleep till 12 o'clock, and then you get in the tractor and you bale till about 7 in the morning, and then you get in the brakes and flip the hay for the next baling the next night. So.
And how old were you when you started that? Pretty young, right?
I think I was 12 when we got the farm, so probably about 13 when I started baling hay.
And you still do it sometimes with them, right?
Yeah, I mainly stack hay now, just because it's kind of convenient when I can be home. I just do it to kind of help out, but for about 3 or 4 years, that's when I really did it hard and kind of, it wasn't really optional, but it was like Dad had to have me there. That's how we were going to pay the bills, and that's how we were going to make it work.
Right.
It wasn't, that's what we had to do. Some things just aren't optional, you got to get it done.
Right. Brought you this far, so it's obviously worked out.
Was when everybody wanted to quit at the end of the season.
Bro, you proved it right there. Ain't no giving up.
Are there any specific advantages that you feel you have in your corner versus some of your competitors, or just some things you focus on that you feel like kind of set you apart from your competition?
Momentum, and being a little bit bigger. A lot of times it's a downfall, but 10 bulls and being sore, it's actually, I can take a beating a little bit more than a smaller guy can. If I get stepped on the back, I get on the next day. A small guy goes to the hospital. You know what I mean? Damn.
Yeah.
Not that I'm any tougher or anything, but having more muscle and
Just
broader,
reality.
stronger, I can just take it better than they can.
Oh, man.
That's just kind of what it is. So, and a lot of guys, they call it bull riding shape. There's a lot of times you don't use muscles on your body ever when you're working out, but when you're on a bull, you'll use different muscles that you never seem to work out. So they call it bull riding shape if you've been getting on and using those muscles. And the people that haven't been getting on, 7th, 8th round comes like, man, they're, I'm sore, this hurts and all this. So I've been getting on, I got the momentum, and I mean, I feel good, and I can take a beating pretty good. I got a pretty sore knee, but I mean, I didn't know it, but like 6 days after you left, I torn 2 partially torn tendons in my knee, and I got on bulls, and I fell off like 9 or 10 in a row, and I didn't like the sport of bull riding very much. And I couldn't hardly walk, and I just kind of nutted it out,
Right.
And at the end of the deal, like 3 or 4 weeks ago, I actually got an MRI, and they were like, yeah, you got 2 torn tendons, and I was like, and the guy had called me, and I already knew I had 1 torn tendon from like 5 years ago,
Right.
And I was like, it ain't a big deal, and I thought that's what he said, but then I got the deal in the mail, and it was a completely different tendon and my meniscus, and I was like, shit, that ain't good. And it's your popliteus tendon. It starts from one side, and it actually comes from a tendon into muscle, and it runs all the way down to your Achilles tendon. It's at a partial tear right here. But as soon as I actually knew what I was working with, I was gonna go and get some rehab done on it, some physical therapy from a guy, but I ended up just literally looking up on YouTube how to rehabilitate it, and I just did the 5 exercises every single day. I do the one where it's under your legs, and you do it like that. I did a bunch of squats with balls, and then you sit down and you do the leg press. And I honestly, I did it for like 4 days, and I just felt so much better just working those muscles out.
Wow.
I mean, that's all physical therapy is. Just working it out and making the blood flow to it, and making it healthy again. So
One last thing. What are you gonna do after the event's over?
buy a house.
Fucking love it.
Before we left after the first interview, we told him, our plan was like maybe every 3rd or 4th day. And, he was like doing things on some days, and he had to meet certain people and go to certain things. And, we're like, I don't want to stress him out. I don't want to pressure him, We'll do the first interview before it all starts, and then we'll just kind of see where it goes. Turns out he wins the first night. It was this weird feeling of like, man, why is it just like, he's like, yeah, I'm going to win tonight, basically, is what it felt like. It's like, yeah, first night, like, he's just going to come out swinging. And that was just like the energy. Like, we were sitting there at the watch party, and we were just like, yeah, he's probably going to win, like, whatever, it's cool. Awesome. He wins. Now what do we do?
90.5, baby. Night 1.
They tell us the buckle ceremony's at the South Point Hotel. Me and the boys get in the minivan. We go to the South Point. We basically just walked right up to the little room where they were having the buckle ceremony and asked the people at the gate, hey, we're filming a documentary on Tristen Hutchings. He just won. Can we get in? And they let us in. So it worked out great. Shout out to the staff at the South Point. They were awesome. We end up meeting Tristen backstage. His family all shows up there. It's like this whole ceremony where they bring him out on stage. We had no idea what we were doing. We were just like, holy crap, film everything. Like, this is crazy. He just actually won the first night. Like,
Tonight is to honor the guy that was 90.5 points. Let's bring him up here for the very first time. Tristen Hutchings, everybody.
After the first night, he won, gave it a day. We're like, oh, we'll see what happens tonight. He ends up falling off the 2nd, the 3rd, and the 4th night. After the 4th night, we were like, PJ and Darius had never been to California, so we had planned this like one day shoot over to Los Angeles, hang out for the day, spend the night one night, come back the next day trip. And we did that on the fourth night. He bucked off, and so we're on the fifth day. So after winning the first round and then being bucked off all rounds after, up until this fifth day, we ended up in Venice Beach around 3 or 4 o'clock, eating lunch, a late lunch, and we were kind of debating on staying another night. Tristen hadn't stayed on the past couple nights. Were we gonna go in there? And what am I gonna ask him? Why do you think you're falling off, or why is this, or why are you doing that? And I didn't know. It's my first time ever doing this. I didn't want to push the boundaries, and it was just kind of just this weird like standstill, and I didn't know how to treat it really. And oddly enough, I hadn't really talked to my dad the whole week I'd been there, maybe like a text or two or some Snapchats or something. But actually, while we were in Venice eating, he calls me and goes, "Hey, I want you to tell Tristen something." What? Like, I didn't even know he knew his name. What? He says, "Hey, tell Tristen something. I hate rabbits." It's an old redneck folk tale that if you're sitting around a campfire and smoke is blowing on you, you close your eyes and say, "I hate rabbits, I hate rabbits." So the smoke goes away. So he says, "I hate rabbits." I said, "What?" He said, "Tell him I hate rabbits. And them bulls don't want no fucking smoke." And I was like, "Oh, I will. I fucking will." Click, hung up, told the boys, "Fuck it, we gotta go back now." Get in the van. Ran back to the minivan, got in. What was supposed to be like a 4.5-hour drive turned into us leaving the West Coast at 4 o'clock and running into some LA traffic. And he doesn't ride until like 8:30, and then if he wins, then he would have to then go to the South Point Hotel, so that's where we can meet up with him. So really we're gonna be there maybe on time if he won, but we didn't even know if he was gonna win yet. The event hadn't even started yet. PJ's driving. We're going through the desert in between Cali and Las Vegas. Stopped for gas, and I had fallen asleep. I woke up to a text message from Colin that said, "What a ride from Tristen," and he had sent it like 10 minutes before. I was like, "What?" I look it up, or I think I called Colin, I don't remember, and next thing I know, he's sitting top of the leaderboard. And I'm like, oh my God, how far are we? I run in the store, I tell PJ, "Get the gas, let's go. We get in the minivan, we look it up. He had just won, and we are an hour from Las Vegas still. I'm not gonna lie, PJ was doing about 110 in the minivan the entire time. And shout out to my dad, because we pulled into the South Point Hotel, parked the minivan as Tristen was about to walk on stage.
Right, I won 90.5 points on a Frontier Rodeo bull for the second time this week. Welcome to the stage, Tristen Hutchings.
Everybody on! Everybody on!
I honestly wanted to do the interviews that night after he won, but I think they were going to go out and hang out with some people, so we decided to settle for the morning of round 6. Also, there's supposed to be 2 belt buckles in this video, but he didn't have one of them, so yeah. He's won 2 at this point.
It's day 6, round 6, Tuesday, right?
I'm the wrong one.
Yeah,
I lost track of the days like last Friday. Alright, so day 1, round 1, you win it. Walk us through that moment from when you got there, you figure out your bull, you get on your bull, you win, and you find out you win until you walk on the stage for your award ceremony that night.
I mean, I drew a good bull. I knew what I'd drawn a couple days before. Last time we did the interview, I knew kind of what I had. Good bull away from my hand. seems like a lifetime ago because it was like 5 days ago. But
Yeah.
it was really fun. It was good. Felt wild, but it looked good. I think it felt really wild. My feet were kind of. I think it felt wild because both my feet were kind of bouncing. But I mean, it felt really good. I was exhausted after all of it, but I was pretty nervous. Definitely not half as nervous now when I'm getting on. It's like just like another day when I'm there. Before it was like, holy shit, I'm here, you know. And then we also had a bunch of locker room bets with like get your hair cut and stuff like that. And I didn't want to get my hair cut, and I didn't want to get a shitty spray tan. Somebody got there. So a haircut, shitty spray tan. Trey Holston actually had lipstick on and eyeshadow. That was his bet. And, I mean, it was just a bunch of stupid. Like, I mean, I think they're stupid.
Yeah.
Like,
A little bit of a motivator.
Well, I guess, but I mean, at the end of the day, we're here to win money. So, but it's kind of just fun for the older guys that are in the locker room. Don't have to do it. You know, don't have to make bets because they're not a rookie at the NFL or whatever. So, I mean, it's funny and whatever. It's funny for everybody that doesn't have to do it.
Yeah, exactly.
But it was awesome. We went to the South Point. You guys were there. It was fun. I was kind of tired, exhausted, and I finally feel a lot better now. So, I mean, you could see last night I was having a lot more fun, smiling,
For sure.
excited. So.
Yeah. And so, you know, in between round 1 and last night, which was round 5, which you won, and we'll get to that, you had the bulls you got bucked off on. Kind of run us through that, you know.
So round 1, the one that I won was the spinner pen. Just good bulls, you're supposed to ride them. Round 2 is the eliminator pen. They only rode 2 bulls. Stetson made a good bull ride, and Kai made a good bull ride. Kai got on a little bit of a weaker bull. I don't know if I'd quite classify him as an eliminator, but they didn't ride him all year. That's kind of why he was in there. But I mean, I don't know. I got on a bull that's never been ridden, bucked me off. I didn't feel very well. Round 3, still kind of exhausted, but I got on a really good bull. Started a good bull ride, but ended up bucking me off around 5.5 seconds. And then round 4, I was so sure I was going to ride that bull because he was the only one I drew into my hand. It was a little well, he dropped me in the well, and I was kind of mentally beat. I don't know, it felt like, I mean, you only fall off one and it feels like you fell off 100 in a row because you're in Vegas, everybody's watching. And I knew I had a bucking bastard in round 5, and I don't know, I'd been on him once and he bucked me off. He'd come out backwards when I originally rode him, so he kind of beat me out of the chutes. I kind of knew what I needed to do last night. I needed to stay a little farther forward, and I basically did exactly what I did in the first round last night. I had a bull that was around to the right, started good, and I left the chutes good, and I rode him. Like, I mean, it was almost picture perfect. I rode him up over my bull rope really well. The round 3, the one I got bucked off, he went around to the right too, but he fake left went right, so he kind of had me beat around, and I didn't get quite the opportunity or start that I got in round 1 and round 5. Round 2, I was just sick. I hate to blame it on being sick, but and that bastard, he bucked it.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I mean, it wasn't the nicest bull.
And round 4, I mean, I wish I could have that one back. I didn't know he was quite that well here. I wouldn't have jumped in to see if there was water. So.
Right. You know, was there ever a thought of like, man, am I ever gonna ride anymore? Am I gonna be able to at least get one more? Or what was your mindset? Just worried about the next bull, or?
I mean, I was definitely like mentally beat. I guess I felt like I wasn't drawn to fit me. I guess. I mean, I was watching Kai and Trey just getting nice bulls rode every night. Not really. Neither of them won around. Neither of them really rode something that really, really bucked hard. But they were both still doing their job really well. And I was kind of like, shit, I wish I'd have drawn this one, or I'd have drawn that one, or I could have rode that one. or wish I had a little bit nicer one. And I was actually talking to Trevor Castner last night, and I was like, I've realized 2 things by round 5. Nobody gives a shit. Nobody cares what you think in the locker room. Nobody cares out there. Nobody cares. Other thing I realized is, the more you want to bitch and complain about your draw, or think, oh, I wish I had this one, or I wish I had that one, you're losing an opportunity to capitalize on the bull you have for that night. And I told him that, and I said, I'm just trying to work on today being more thankful for little things, and it seemed to work.
Nice.
You know, being thankful always seems to work. I mean, try and find the positivity in everything. I mean, I was scared. I wasn't scared shitless, but that bull, every time I get on that one I got on last night, beats the tar out of me in the bucking chutes. Like, my ankle hurts like a bitch today, but, I mean, he's a good bull to get on.
Yeah.
He's just likes to buck in the bucking chutes.
Right.
You know, but, I mean, he's way funner out of the bucking chutes.
What's your mindset / game plan for the rest of the week? We're at the halfway mark. You rode 5 bulls. You got 5 more to go. You know, what's kind of your game plan, your mindset moving forward?
So there's 2 guys that have rode 4 out of 5, 2 guys that have rode 3 out of 5, and then there's me and 2 other people, maybe, that have rode 3. So that means that would put me in 5th place for the average. I really wish I could ride a couple more. I got a really good one tonight. I don't know if I'll win the round. If I had to guess, I'll probably end up getting 3rd or 2nd. I don't know if I have enough bull to win it. And it's into my hand and it doesn't quite... I don't know. The judges like the ones away from her hand just because it's a little more difficult. I mean, it just is. They don't ride as big a percentage away from their hand as they do into their hand. But my goal, as of right now, is to place high in the average as I can. So just get as many bulls rode. I mean, there's still 5 more rounds. So if I rode all 5 more, which is completely possible, I could ride 7. So that means even if I rode all the rest and Josh or Stetson bucked off 2 more, I could still beat him. So I mean, there's a lot of stuff happens. I mean, there's no better time to get on fire, and I haven't been riding bad at all.
No.
I got bucked off 2 that I shouldn't have been bucked off of, and I was sick for the other day. I mean, I'm just excited to kind of get back at it. I'm excited to keep heading there, keep going back to the Thomas and Bang. Got 5 more. I mean, feels like I've been here for a month, but I mean, I'm excited to keep going. I mean, the beginning of the day is kind of boring and stuff, but I mean, going in the locker room and suiting up again, that'll be a blast, and you guys will see it too. So like, it's kind of a little slower yesterday here and today, but tomorrow, it's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday are the busiest times. It'll be busier than any day you've been here, even on last Saturday or Friday when you're like, oh, there's a lot of people here in Vegas. It'll be like, I mean, Vegas will be like shut down. It'll be crazy.
Leads us into our next question. What do your days look like leading up to when you go to the Thomas and Mack Center around 3 or so?
So today I do this interview, and then I have another interview at 2. Come back, try and take a little power nap while she gets ready. My girlfriend Delaney.
Off camera, hi.
And then, I mean, last night I took a little power nap, and I felt awesome. And so I'm going to try and kind of do that again. And then, I don't know, yesterday I went and took a bunch of pictures, like so many pictures out at this little ghost town. It was cool. I took them for my sponsor, Hui, and they're awesome people. They were nice. They took a bunch of pictures with hats, sweatshirts, coats, and shirts. It was a fun deal. I just was supposed to go again today. I didn't really want to go. Had other stuff I wanted to do. And I'd only signed up for 1 day, and they were trying to get me to go 2. I didn't really want to do that. But, I mean, the first couple of days I was sick and didn't come out of the hotel room, so I'm glad to, like, I get to go sign autographs 1 day for Cinch and do the photo shoot and stuff. So I like getting out and about and talking. I like meeting little kids that look like me 10 years ago.
Right.
like to have a dream or a plan. You know what I mean? Like I mean, there is a lot of little ungrateful shits here running around Vegas, and I hate saying that, but when we were in line and all those kids were coming, like, spell my name right. It's, whoa. I don't know, you nothing, right, you little shit. Then you got the little kids walking like, thank you so much, and that's what makes it worth it. Think of little kids that are like thankful to meet you, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like I mean, the signing at Cinch Booth was cool, but all the athletes are in a line and like they line up and just everybody down the
Assembly line, yeah.
If I could do it, it'd be like you walk up to. Like whoever walks up to me, like actually wants my signature.
Right.
You know what I
They
mean?
want to see
100%. Yeah. Or like, I want to meet Tristen Hutchings. Not, oh, there's 8 athletes in this line. Let's get all, you know. So, I mean, it is fun though. It is fun meeting all those little kids, and then you got a bunch of grandparents there. They're actually making you sign it for their little grandkids back home. So it's cool. I like meeting fans. So. It's fun, and it is fun getting treated like you're important, you know. Like a lot of the time all year, people are, I don't know, you pull into some of the county fairs or whatever, and a lot of people have a heart of gold and treat you good, and some people just care less about you. So it's nice being treated like a professional athlete here, you know, and getting paid like one.
That's the big part. So we'll kind of sum it up here. How does this event compare to some of the other events you've been in the past? I mean, I know you won the college rodeo finals, and that's, what, just a one-day deal, right, or a weekend deal?
It's actually about 7 days in a row.
Oh, it is a 7-day deal, okay.
Probably 6.
So how does that kind of compare? That's good then, because it's kind of the same deal. It's a longer event. How does that kind of compare compared to your normal?
So the college finals, I mean, there's a couple of events. So the college finals kind of compares to here. You don't get on half as many bulls, and you compete against a lot more people, and you have a lot less chances. You only get on 3 and then the short round. But it's a little arena. They light it up. Sparks fly. It's fun, loud, just kind of like here. So that one kind of compares to here, and then there's a couple big rodeos that, like, I like the rodeos that you can feel like the tension, like you can feel everybody clapping, cheering, having fun. Like, I like Reno, but like, I mean, the crowd's so far away, and like Salinas, it's like they're doing the bull riding and the bar racing at the same time. Like, it's almost like people could give a shit less, you know. You can't hear anybody cheering. You'd be 90 points, you couldn't even tell, you know. So I like little rodeos, or rodeos that feels like everybody's just glued to you. Like you get your 10 seconds or 30 seconds of fame, you know. I like stuff like that. I like feeling, like, I mean, we get adrenaline from bull riding, but I feel like when you can really hear someone like, yeah, that was a great job, you know, and like the crowd erupts, that's where I get my adrenaline from now. Like, wow, everybody thinks I did awesome too, you know. So, I mean, a lot of events compare different ways. Like, I mean, I'll never, like, not want to go to Reno. Like, I love Reno, but I like kind of little arenas that it feels like they're on top of you and it's loud and crazy and I can't hear afterwards, you know. That's fun to me.
Okay. That kind of wraps it out. Kind of off-topic interview. I'd like to just say thank you again for letting us follow you around. And
Oh, yeah.
It's awesome knowing your drive and work ethic is just, when they say there's levels to it, you know, it's kind of like a gimmick, you know, oh, there's levels to it, but there really is, you know, and seeing your dedication and your drive, I mean, just pushes me alone, you know, I mean, just from the summer run and seeing you do it, you know, it just in little ways, you know, pushes me, pushes these guys, seeing not just from a bull rider's aspect, but an athlete, you know,
For sure.
a studier, you know, you're still going to college and everything, you know, just all those, and working, your work ethic at back home, helping your dad, meeting your dad, kind of just put it all together, and I just want to say I appreciate it, because
Yeah, I think I actually might like get followed around by a camera more than you guys like following me around. But you guys are awesome. It was a pleasure meeting both of you guys. We're not done yet.
100%.
And man, I cannot wait for this thing to see how it turns out. Mainly because, I mean, I don't even remember half the stuff I said. I remember I said a lot of cool stuff on camera. I did a lot of cool things. But anybody watching this, these guys are awesome. They're really cool. And always bet red.
Yeah, always bet red. All right,
Yeah,
buddy.
'cause you.
That's it. Our next interview was on the 10th day, before the last round. He came in second the night before, the 9th round. Very good bull ride, just someone got one up on him. If you really pay attention to the interview we did on day 6, before round 6, if you go back to the first interview when we got to Vegas, if you go back to July in the very first interview we did with him, he is so in tune with his craft. He basically calls out most of his run. He's at 60,000. He says, I bet you'll need to be 120, 130 to make it. He finished at 127,000 going into the NFR. 6 months later. Before round 6, that if he does stay on tonight, he'll probably win it because of the bull he got. That means he knew how good the bull was and how good he would do if he rode it, that it would basically be a guaranteed win. And he did win. So then we go into this interview on day 10 before the very last round. Our very last interview is on Sunday after the last round. Really pay attention to what he says in this interview and how yet again he foreshadows what he's going to do. Not only does he foreshadow what he's going to do, he does it at what is quite literally the best outcome there is. And he doesn't even know it when he's talking about it. He just literally wills it to life. All right, today is day 10, the last day.
Oh, it is day 10, yeah. If I said 9.
Yeah, no, day 10. You rode 4 out of
9.
10 nights.
4 out of 9 bulls.
4 out of 9 bulls, 3 of which you won the round on. Last night came in second?
Yep.
That was a good ride.
Second by 1 point. Yep.
We were
So I guess my goal is to win the average. Failed. But I mean, I've accomplished a lot, you know. I've done really good job. I won a lot of money. Like, I mean, I've almost won. I mean, I'm 4th in the average, I think, but I've won more money than probably second to just Stetson, probably. Josh has rode 6 out of 8 bulls, and Stetson rode 7 out of 8 bulls, and I rode, Stetson's rode 8 out of 9, Josh rode 7 out of 9, and I rode 4 out of 9. Trevor Castner's rode 5 out of 9. Yeah, I think Kai's rode 5 out of 9. But I have 2 90s and 2 88s. I haven't been below 88 points. I don't know. I feel like I've drawn rank all week. One of the bulls I fell off of got bucked off of got the rank bull of the night or whatever.
Rank ride.
And then the other bull that I got bucked off, they won the 3rd round on. So, I mean, I don't think I've drawn a bull that you could be under 88 points on. I've been drawing buckers, but I mean, I haven't won the average or got close to winning the average, but I won a dang good amount of money. So I feel like it's went good. If I could ride my bull tonight, I guess I'd probably feel like I had a pretty dang good NFR, you know. I've been having fun. It's been really hot and cold. It was hot, then I fell off 4 bulls in a row, I think. Then I won the 5th round, 6th round. Then I went cold again, 7th, 8th. Then I rode again last night, and I got a bucker tonight. So, I mean, if I could do anything better next year, I mean, I prepared a little bit more to ride them away from my hand than I did into my hand. So that would be when they were spinning to the right instead of to the left, because that's where I struggled. And I really did show that I can ride them away from my hand, but I think I prepared a little too much away from my hand and not enough into my hand, because I struggled into my hand a little bit, which usually I never get bucked off into my hand. So if I had to change anything about preparation for next year, I would try and prepare just as much one direction as the other direction. And I mean, I hit it pretty hard this year preparing. I mean, I just think it goes to show you got to try even harder next year. You know, I'd really like to start the new season off. I've got 8,001. I'd really like to give Stetson and Josh a big run for their money. I don't want to be the kid that they're like, oh, he might make the NFR. I want to be the kid that's, oh, he might win the world. So that's my plan for next year. I think this year, if I had to look back at July, I'd have never thought this was all possible. So there's no way I should be disappointed in myself. And I'm not. I haven't achieved all my goals, but I don't think Josh or Stetson the first year they were here were this many bulls. So, I mean, Stetson's only 1 year older than me, but Josh is like 5 years older than me. I think I'm just going to go hit it harder and go try and achieve that goal next year. But what I can do tonight is I can go ride my bull tonight. I've won 113,000 so far, and then I'm sitting 4th or 5th in the average right now. I bet you if I rode my bull tonight, I'd end up 4th, win another 40,000, and bet you I'd get 1st or 2nd in the round on the bull that I have. So I could come out here with $170,000, $80,000, and I mean, I don't think anybody could be disappointed in that. You know.
I would hope not. It's all about the rider and everything, but there is a luck aspect almost to it, you know, whether how the bull draws, how he rides based on the knowledge you know about him. If he goes right and then he goes left, you know, that all kind of plays an effect, and it is a reality. You know, it's not an excuse. You know, it is a reality. You know, I mean, obviously, at the end of the day, you could have rode, but I think, you know, just that alone and the money. Well, I mean, you won 127 on the year, and you've made more than that in a week.
For sure.
Know? And that's insane, you know. And you know how it is coming from, you know, not having a lot of money growing up. It's just life changing forever.
No, for sure. I'll probably have the opportunity to go try and buy a house now, or at least put a damn good down payment on it and make it so my monthly payment's small and get something that I like. I had 60,000 in my bank account, and then I had another 10-15,000 for sponsors, and now I'm gonna have like another 140,000. So I mean, that's like 210,000. Like a couple more years, and I could have a house all the way paid off, as many vehicles as I want. And I mean, I'm not no golfer, NBA guy. You know, we're not living in penthouse suites. You know, but it's for sure compared to a normal person's living, it's damn good. You know, and we grind a lot and work really hard, but I mean, it's almost like a sport. Kids in high school do it for free.
Yeah.
We're out here doing it, and we're getting paid good to do it. So I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to live my dream, and I'm happy to be here having fun. You know, it is fun. I mean, it's been 10 days, and 10 days is a long time. Today is the 17th day I've been gone from home. That's over half a month. And I mean, we were out longer than that on the road, but at a time, you know. But
at least you're moving then.
Here we're just stuck. And I mean, I love talking to people and stuff, but it does get old signing a bunch of autographs. I mean, I don't mind signing autographs, but I mean, the whole aspect of Vegas gets a little old. But I mean, you can't quit or give up. It's 29,000 every night, you know.
Yeah.
Be pretty tough not to keep coming back.
So a couple more questions. Is your mindset any different? Is it easier on you, or is it more pressure on you? You think going in the last night, knowing you've already won rounds, knowing that this experience, no matter how it ends tonight, has absolutely been awesome for you.
I mean, I haven't felt too much pressure since the very first round. Probably, let's say the first 2 rounds. Like, you could feel it, like, it was like I was allergic to peanut butter and I ate it. Like, I mean, I couldn't breathe. My throat was tight. I mean, regardless, I was a little sick, but sick or not, I mean, you get behind the chutes and there's just, like, people as tall as you can see. I mean, they're doing the wave in there and it looks like the whole damn building's moving. And I mean, so for pressure, I haven't felt much the last couple of nights. Not like choky up pressure, just like, I don't know. I feel like I'm almost like just thankful on the back of the chutes now. Like, look at all these people that love the sport of rodeo. Look at all these people that love bull riding. Look at all these people that come and watch just us. 120 people every single night for 10 nights straight. Flew all the way in. You know what I mean? People drove 20 hours to be here. I don't know. The one, I kept getting bucked off between the first and the fifth round. The day of the fifth round, I talked to Trevor Kastner and I said, you know, every opportunity that you don't like, or like you draw a bull you don't like, right? Well, I mean, whether you could say I want that one or I could have rode that one, you're wasting the opportunity that you had tonight. You always have an opportunity tonight, whether you like the opportunity or not. You need to try and best to capitalize it. You just need to be thankful. You know what I mean? You have an opportunity every night to go win. You need to be thankful, and I believe if you look at life and you look at bull riding and stuff with a positive, thankful outlook, I mean, it's going to translate to your riding and you're going to win. I mean, and I told him that on round 5, and I was scared shitless to get in county jail. He beats the shit out of you in the chutes, big strong bull, run you over afterwards, and I won the round, was 90.5 points. Then I was 88 the next night, and then I was like, just be thankful. So that's what, I mean, I'm just trying to be thankful. I've got life-changing money now. I've had a life-changing experience now. It's pretty tough not to be thankful. Like, I mean, some days, like, I mean, it doesn't matter if you're, I mean, Drake, Justin Bieber, got as much money in the world, Michael Jordan. You could be the best person in the world and still have tough days that you don't want to be thankful, but need to be thankful. And that's what I'm working on myself, and I think that'll put me up and over the edge. And so going into tonight, the 10th round, got a good bull drawn, could be 90 points on him. I just want to be thankful I'm here and thankful I'm still healthy. I mean, there's been 3 kids I haven't got to get on. One broke his leg, one had a concussion, and one had a big brain bleed. And I mean, we looked up his deal, and I mean, it's pretty lucky he's not even a vegetable. So I'm thankful to be happy, healthy, and wealthy. You know, I mean, I've been sore twice in Vegas. This is round 10. My groin got hurt last night. Feel pretty alright this morning, and my ankle hurt after the 5th round when that bull was bucking in the bucket chutes. Positive news is my knee hasn't hurt once, and that was kind of my big worry coming in here. I feel damn good right now, so I'm excited for that. Circuit rodeo and college rodeo, and from here on out, my knee feels good.
Good deal.
So how it goes is the top 5 are the last 5 to go out every single night. And the first couple rounds, up to the 4th round maybe, I was 5th or 4th to last. And then the 5th round, the second round win I was like 3rd out. And it felt all weird, you know, but I don't know. You just kind of sit back there and you hang out, and then all of a sudden, like 5 or 6 guys gone, you're like, holy shit, I need to get kind of in the zone, you know. And sometimes I'm like really in the zone, and sometimes I'm like, come on, get in the zone, Tristen, quit fucking thinking about stupid shit, you know. Or like sometimes I'll be in the bucking chutes, like just ready to nod my head, and sometimes I'm like, I can hear everything around me, and I'm like, come on, you need to tune it out, and I'm like, sometimes it's a battle. Tune it out, and you're like, can't, you know, you can hear the announcer, you can hear him talking about you, and you just have thoughts about it, and you're not thinking about bull riding. I don't know what it's like for everybody else, but sometimes it's an uphill battle for me. And like last night, it was happening, I could hear everything, you know. This is a good matchup, blah, 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 you know, and I'm like, Tristen, you need to quit thinking about that, you know, quit hearing it. Like, I just wish I couldn't hear it. And he come out there and almost had me bucked off, and I was like, shit, I bucked off another one, you know. And then he come back underneath me, and I was riding him, and he's pounding on his front end, bam, bam. And and it's like felt like I just holding on, stay on, and like I mean in the 8 seconds I feel like you don't think much. At least I try not to, because I've read a couple books and they say you have two minds in your head. Your mind is controlling your body, like your lungs, your muscles. You don't tell your legs to move; they just move. And you have your conscious mind. That's your actual inner thoughts, the thoughts that are working. When your thoughts are getting in when their two brains clash, doesn't let your body move the way it's supposed to. So if I'm thinking I'm going to be late to the punch and set and my hips are right in the front. So if I can just shut this one up and let this one work, I can do it. And so I just try and clear my head. Don't think about a thing. I've practiced, I've put in the work, and I've taught my body the moves it needs to make in those 8 seconds. I shouldn't have to think, because all it's going to do is get in the way. But we do have an internal clock in our head. You know when the 8 seconds is coming. Like, you'll see people ride a bull perfect for 8 seconds, and in the last 7 seconds they get off to the side because they know the whistle's coming. Either one, they're putting themselves in a body position to get off good, which you still get penalized for because you're out of whack. Or two, a lot of people will start tightening down, just trying to really hold on. It's not, they're trying too hard at that point. Yeah. You know, they're not letting their body do what it needs to do, or they think, oh, I've almost got him, just hold on. But, I mean, for me, from the start to finish, that's kind of what it's like. Just trying, I mean, I definitely knew I had an internal clock last time. I was damn near hanging off the side, and I was like, hold on now, hold on, you know, and it worked out. I won $23,000, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I mean, I don't know. I try and keep my head clear and have fun, you know. It is tough sometimes to tune it all out. Shut up, I don't want to hear, you know. Like, I mean, that's why it's like almost easier in the practice bed. You don't have to hear all that shit. You don't hear nobody. There ain't no one saying nothing. You got a couple people ride your bull, and that I love good positive feedback. Trey Kimsey on round 5, that bull was beating the shit out of me in the shit. He just rode one for 87.5, come back there and he's, ride this son of a bitch, ride it, blah blah blah, you know. And that bull was beating me up. My knees are all bruised up from it, my ankles all bruised up, and I was like, you know, in the sheets, and he told me that. Just kept chatting in my ear, and I was like, you know what, screw this thing. I'm gonna strap it all over him. Big, scary, wants to beat you up in the chutes, and then, I mean, you have a switch in your head. You can either wimp out and just nod your head and fall off, or you can take the fight to him. And sometimes it's tough when you're really hurting in there, or they make your leg bleed or something, you know. Sometimes you just gotta cowboy up, and it's a lot easier to cowboy up when you got someone speaking in your ear. Ride this bastard. Take the fight to him. And I mean, I just had a switch in my head. Ride this thing. Whatever it takes. And I stuck it all over him. So, I mean, it's good to always have good positive influence in your ear. Like, I mean, that's how people learn in this world or take anything in this world, is either by reading or listening. And so, you got someone saying that all you've been doing listening your whole life. That's the biggest thing you need to listen to, is good positive motivational speaking. Last thing you do before you nod your head is you hear something good. It's great.
Awesome. I think that's it, man.
Alrighty.
I gotta tell you, it's just between when we first met in July to now, man, 2 different people.
Yeah.
I love it, man. I love it.
Perfect.
I can just see it, man. I fucking love it.
So you guys want to meet up again tomorrow, right?
Yeah, we'll meet up again tomorrow. That's when we'll do Miss Delaney's as well.
1, 2.
So after we left Tristen's hotel that morning, we went and ate some lunch, and then we ended up meeting him at the Thomas and Mack Center around 3 o'clock. He was going to give us a little backstage tour in the locker room, and we did some filming, you know. I don't know if we were really supposed to be back there or not. But it was cool. We got back there, we got to see the locker room, see where they walk out at, see where all the grand entry comes in and the horses and everything, and it was pretty surreal just seeing how big it is from down there versus up in the stands, you know. And I can only imagine what those guys feel. And we were like right there next to the yellow chutes, and it was just awesome to see and kind of cap off the trip. And there was we got kind of busted by some guys, and then they sent us to some people. I thought we were kind of in trouble. I just told them, hey, I'm trying to film Tristen. We got passed off to about like 6 people, I think, or something. It was like 5 or 6 people. Finally ended up in the hands of Miss Amy Fast with the PRCA. She really helped me out. She gave me her information, was going to help me get some footage. I reached out to her over the summer, tried to get some of the footage. She replied back and, kind of gave me the guidelines and asked exactly what footage I was looking for. Replied back to her, and unfortunately, I never did hear back from her. So I don't have any of the broadcast footage I can use or anything. But she was still really helpful. It could have been a lot worse. We ended up inside the Thomas & Mack Arena. We didn't have any seats, but there's like some little areas there you can sit and watch the events, like little bars and stuff inside the arena. So we ended up over at one of those, and we just had that feeling again, like it was so certain, especially after that interview we did with him earlier that morning, where it was just like, it just seemed so simple. It just seemed like he's like, yeah, now it's over with. Now he ain't got nothing to lose. It's like, yeah, I'm covering this one tonight, is what it just seemed like. He's just kind of like, felt like a spiritual wink of just like, yeah, we're going to get this tonight. And, God, just like that first night, man. You just kind of knew he was going to get it. The 15 bull riders, only one rode their bull on the night 10 of the NFR Finals, Las Vegas 2022. An almost $100,000 cash prize, normally split between the top 5 competitors, was handed off to one single man on the final night. $98,000+ in 8 seconds. Some people don't make that in 3 years, 4 years. I haven't made that in 2-3 years. He made it in 8 seconds. After going into the finals at $130,000. After already winning $113,000. He just won another $98,000, putting him at almost $215,000. And then bumping him up in the average, so now he's winning even more money after it's all said and done. Almost $250,000 in 1 week. I don't think I've made $250,000 in my life. And I just got to sit here after sitting in a Capri camper with this kid, talking about, this is my home, I ain't got no money. I got this in a car. I want to buy a house, I want to do this. And he did it. I seen it happen. I seen the hard work. I seen him do it every day and fight through the pain. I seen him do it all. And to make over $250,000 in 1 week, over $400,000 in 1 year, doing what he loves to do and having fun doing it. And all the pain and sorrow that comes with it. It was all worth it. Trust me. Okay. So, how'd you and Tristen meet? You can give us a short story.
Okay. So, he'd gone to college at Sul Ross for a year before I had met him. And I came down to college, and we were both on the rodeo team. And he came to one practice one day, and he had texted me quite a few times before then. And I didn't answer because I'd heard a few things. Anyways, we made a bet on a song, and I said that if he was right, well, he said, if I'm right, will you go on a date with me? I said, yeah, because I knew I was right. I wasn't right. And then we ended up celebrating his sister's birthday, and then we started hanging out then. And then we ended up going on a date after that, but that's how it all started.
And how long ago was that?
September of 2020.
So
Yeah.
a little over 2 years.
2 years. We're going on 3. We're working on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So kind of jumping right into it, what's it like to love Tristen and Tristen as a bull rider, and knowing what you know, is that the career that you would like, or you would, you thought you'd ever be involved in a relationship with, or how do you take that?
Well, I just want Tristen to follow his dreams, and I knew that he wanted to be a bull rider, and he's a phenomenal bulldogger too. So, he's, in my eyes, he's more of an all-around cowboy. Not that I wouldn't love him if he was just a bull rider, because I don't love him because he's a bull rider. I love him because he's Tristen and he's mine. But sometimes it's scary. I just don't want him to get hurt. If he was in a wheelchair, I wouldn't leave him, because that's obviously not why I love him. But I do get scared. Sometimes it's a little bit hard when he's on the road. Sometimes I feel like I'm missing out on that part of his life. But I felt that a lot this summer, actually, like I wasn't part of that part of his life. So it was really nice to come here and be a part of his life at the finals. Yeah.
It's awesome, actually. I'll show you the video of what he said about it this summer.
Okay.
I remember him telling me one time, I said, what are you doing in there, talking to your girlfriend or something? He said, yeah, mostly. He said, it's about the only way I keep my head on right.
Yeah.
and it hit me, and I was like, God, you could just see him, when he would talk to you on the phone, and, there was a couple times we'd like, go in his Capri or something, he was on the phone with you or whatever. Mm-hmm. And I didn't know you. I didn't know it was you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I never asked what his girlfriend's name really was. In this video, you'll see what he, to the extent of what I knew about you. This was the first time like I said, because I hadn't really talked to him personally much. Mm-hmm. Some obstacles or sacrifices you've had to make in your normal life,
Shoot, I got so many of those. I'd probably bore you to death, but a thing that really kind of pulled on my heartstrings. I had a beautiful girlfriend last year, and as soon as the rodeos hit, all my friends were single, we were running around. That's just what it was, and then about after the summer run, I started dating her again because I realized I kind of screwed up. But I kind of realized this year that's kind of she pushes me more than anybody else does. She's got my back. Her, my dad, my mom, my grandparents, they all want me to win.
So, to add on to that, when he talks about that, you could just seeing this now coming here, it just I got goosebumps now just thinking about it.
Yeah.
Last night, Tristen's dad comes up to me and I said, "Hey man, thank you." I was like, "You're an awesome dad," and it shows from Tristen.
Yeah.
And he says, "This is Tristen's dad." He says, "Don't give me any credit." And he pointed at you and said, "That girl right there has pushed Tristen more than anyone." But I'm about to cry, sorry. It was so emotional. He said, "That girl right there has pushed Tristen more than anyone."
Mm-hmm.
How do you handle all that?
I know that I made him a better person. He was always an amazing guy. And he had these amazing qualities. Sweet heart. And I saw that. And I feel like I have a lot of those qualities. And I feel like we just kind of bring the best out in each other. But I do appreciate that people see that and realize that because sometimes I don't want to be in the spotlight, but I do want to be appreciated, and so it's really nice that they see that, and it's that I'm appreciated, because Like his dad will never, he hasn't said that before, not that he wouldn't, but it's nice to hear that he thinks that and thinks that I'm good for him, because it's nice to have that approval.
And like I said before, most guys won't say it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They won't, and
Yeah.
it caught me off guard when he said it to me. So
Yeah.
From just a friend standpoint, becoming close to Tristen, thank you, because
Yeah.
I can just tell. You know, there's two ways. A guy will either chase women his whole life, or he'll get one like you that actually helps him. That's awesome.
Yeah.
One last question: if you could say anything to Tristen, what would you say to him?
That I am so extremely proud of him, to see the growth and the development, and him going from this kid to a man, and seeing him ride a few bulls to ride every single bull, and be so extremely successful. It just makes me so proud of him, and I just amazed by him.
That's it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Give me a hug. That was awesome.
Thanks.
Thank you so much.
Woo, baby. God almighty. It is Sunday, December 11th. You just did 10 days at your first NFR finals. How do you feel?
Feel pretty good. Pretty healthy, considering 10 of the ranked bulls on planet Earth I got on. I'm a little sore, but it's to be expected. I'm pretty happy. I mean, since I talked to you yesterday, some sparks flew, so it's pretty good. It ended. I mean, I don't think, or I know you couldn't have went any better yesterday. They literally could not.
No chance.
And that's not wishing any ill will on anybody or saying I'm glad anybody fell off, but I did my job and everybody else decided not, or everybody else tried their hardest and didn't get their job accomplished, and it ended up I just come out on top, and $93,000 later we're sitting here.
One night, $92,000. Yeah, I mean, it's funny you mentioned that. We're not praying on anyone's downfall, but we were a little excited when them last two boys was like, come on, don't do it, come on, Tristan, let's take it home. You know, we kind of covered a lot yesterday beforehand, you know, and just kind of here as a send-off message, you know. What is your plans now that you won upwards of $250,000 this week?
So I won $249,000 now, just in this last 10 days, which is incredible because last night or yesterday when I talked to you, I had $113,001. I ended up winning $35,000 in the average and $93,000 in the bull riding last night. So I come out, I mean, way ahead, way more than I thought. I mean, I told Delaney if I could win, I don't know, 1 or 2 more rounds a couple days ago, I'd be dang happy. I mean, I won the money for basically, I won more money last night than winning the first 3 rounds. Like, I mean, first 3 rounds, one paid 32, one paid 28, the other one paid 28. I mean, I won more last night than all 3 of those. So it's pretty crazy. I still don't think I've wrapped my head completely around it. I mean, it was kind of cool. We got back in that locker room and everybody's kind of hanging their head and everybody said good job, but no one really said anything. Trey Holson looked at everybody and said, "Does no one fucking realize that he just won $93,000?" And that's kind of when I realized I'd won that much money. I mean, it's incredible. I can't even really. I mean, so much has changed in 24 hours in my whole life. Not just like my whole life, but I mean, and the cool deal is we're filming this whole deal, and I mean, we filmed it this summer. You guys flew out here to Vegas. We've all been here for like 13 days now or something like that. I've been gone. This is the 18th day I've been gone from home. I was ready to go home, and now I won so much money. Another buckle. I won almost half the rounds in the bull riding. I got first in 4 rounds and second in the other round. I mean, I had an average of 89 points or something each ride. It's just pretty crazy. It's pretty crazy how much has changed between yesterday and today. You know what I mean? Just from when I talked to you guys yesterday. And I told you guys yesterday, I'm just trying to work on being thankful. You know what I mean? I know it's crazy. I said that. Just trying to work on being thankful. I come in today, and I mean, it feels like every blessing and every day of hard work that I've ever put into this point kind of rang in last night. You know, I kept thinking last night and this morning. I don't know if it's consider it luck, everybody falling off, or I don't know. I don't know how to take it. You know, I don't know what to consider. I don't know if God's blessing me. I don't know if all my hard work's finally paying off. I don't know if I just got lucky that everybody fell off. I don't know. At the end of the day, it really don't matter, I guess. I mean, thank God and thankful for everything, you know. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's kind of funny how we talked about yesterday. I mentioned, you know, the kid I met 6 months ago versus yesterday was a completely different kid. And then I was talking to your dad last night, and even now talking to you here, it's like, you know, you're just evolving every time, you know what I mean? I can imagine why, you know, winning something like that. And you're right, I didn't even win the money, and I can't wrap my head around it yet, you know what I mean? So I imagine you won't, you know, probably till it's like in your bank account or something, you know what I mean? And you see it, and you have to, you know, go through that process. But you could just see it, man. You could just tell you move different, you talk different, you act different, your mindset's different than a lot of guys. And they're all there, they're all top 15, they all have the same chance you did. And like you were just saying, whether it's luck, whether it's this, it's probably a culmination of a lot of it. You know, there is a draw to the bulls, but only a couple of those bulls have never been rode, and they probably wouldn't get ride. Like you said, everyone else had a chance. And crazy, 15 of the best guys in the world, and you know, you won 4 of the rounds out of 10, second on the second one. I'm pretty sure, other than Stetson had a 92, you've scored all the highest bull rides. You know, I think that just speaks for itself. There ain't no luck about it. You know what I mean? That's a fruition of you, hard work over the years, and it, like you said, just finally coming to a head. You know, you know, so we're thankful just to be here in your presence, man. I mean, like I was telling your dad last night, you couldn't write a better story. I couldn't make this shit up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the truth.
You know, we could have followed you this whole week, and you might have got bucked off every night, and we still would have had a story. You know, you're first in a far, you made it this far. That's a story in itself. So I would be just as happy. But the story you gave us and the story we'll be able to tell is just incredible. And
it is crazy, the cherry on top at the end.
Oh, I know, dude. I was freaking out. I was screaming. I was dancing. I was like, no fucking way you actually did it.
You know the craziest part? I didn't even accomplish my goal. You know, like, I mean, and I don't care, even Lewis. Like, I mean, goals are there to, I mean, hopefully you set them high enough that you do fail, you know.
Right.
I mean, that's when you know you're really reaching for the sky, I guess. But it's crazy that we're all sitting around. I didn't even accomplish my goal, and where this happened.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
dude.
It's crazy. It's great. Like, I mean, it's crazy how fierce and real the competition really was. You know what I mean? Stetson wrote 8 out of 10 bulls. That is crazy. You know what I mean? Josh wrote 7 out of 10. That's crazy. You know what I mean? And, like, I mean, you could take everybody's best 5 bulls and I'd beat them. You know what I mean? But, I mean, between Kai, Josh, and Stetson, and me, I mean, we put on an unbelievable, great bull riding this week. Like, I mean, it was cool watching. It was cool being in the locker room with all those guys. It was cool. Like, I mean, Josh and Stetson put in an unbelievable amount of hard work, and I do too. And I think that's what pushes me to work so hard. I mean, I watch Josh get on 1 or 2 bulls every single day. Every day. I only got on 2 twice a week. That's what I felt I needed. Josh got on 1 every single day. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, for 2 months coming out here. That guy's crazy. Stetson Wright, an animal. And I mean, to only get beat by those 2 people, like, I mean, to come in right behind them, I was only 25,000 or something behind Josh at the end of the deals. I mean, that's incredible. And now I get to go next year and try and beat him, you know what I mean? And believe that I have the power to give them 2 awesome guys that run for their money. It's a dream come true. Like, I mean, I won $93,000 last night. Stetson Wright still has $200,000 on me at the end of the deal, you know. So that just kind of shows me how much work I still have to put in. And, like, I mean, there's a lot more late night sleeping in the airport, you know. At the end of the deal, that's kind of what it boils down to. Who's tough enough to go do stuff like that and be away from home for 7 months? And I'm very excited to go give them boys a run for their money. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You got any final send-off message? Whether it be motivational, sincere, whatever you want to say.
How do you feel your little siblings are taking all this, looking, watching you go through this?
I think my 2 littlest brothers don't really understand. You know what I mean? Like, I was the Huey matchup of the night or whatever on Evil Intentions, and I fell off and I was mentally beat. You know, I pictured just going to the South Point again. I wanted to draw that bull for so long, and bucked hard out of there and bucked me out. I walk upstairs almost every single night to go say hi to everybody. I called Lujan and I said, "I'll meet you at the car. Let's go." You know, and my dad called me and my little brother says, "You disappointed me." And I was like, "You shit me, you little shit." And I love him to death, you know. But he just doesn't really quite understand.
Right.
But my little sister was a freshman last year, and I mean, she practiced harder than I ever practiced, tries harder, has better horsepower. Dad and her take things incredibly serious, and she missed nationals. And she come down here and she was roping at the Vegas toughest and tying goats, and I hugged her last night and I said, I hope that I showed you that all your dreams can be possible, and that no matter who you are or where you come from, it is possible if you're just willing to put in the work. And that's kind of what I try and tell everybody. Like, I mean, three or 4 years ago, and it's been a long road, and it's been bumpier and shit. I mean, there are several times I went out there and I had to go back and fix fence in 93-degree heat just to get money to go home in the 1 year because I got bucked off 7 bulls in a row. Like, I mean, you can literally be the worst in the world. You can be overweight. I mean, you can have no money. I mean, minimal help, come from nothing, basically, you know. And if you are willing to work hard and try hard, I am proof that you can make a good living, make yourself proud, and make everybody around you proud, and show. I do love showing my little siblings that it's possible. You know what I mean? I love showing every little kid that it's possible. Like, all those kids at the trade show were coming up and getting autographs, and I told a couple of them, I said, I was you 10 years ago. I was walking around with my dad and my stepmom. Me and Timmy had a stack of these deals. I still got a stack of them from 10 years ago. All these people with their little signatures on their autograph sheets, running around the trade center, getting all their autographs. I mean, it's just crazy. But I think that's my favorite part. I like winning, I like the money, but I like showing kids that it's possible. From no matter where you come from, just work hard. I mean, if I had anything to say at the end of the day, no matter how many times you fail, do never make an excuse. Always revolve back to, I need to work harder. And I think if you do that every single time you get bucked off, every single time you miss a calf, miss a steer, I need to work harder, I need to practice more, I don't think there's anybody that can tell you that you're not going to be at the top. change your mindset, change your goals, and you make it to the top.
Just like that, baby.
All right, big dog. This is the last one for this year.
Yeah.